So, this is a Type 2 charge box, wall box. Normally it's attached to a wall, of course, and it actually works, not like this one. But then you plug in the cable here, and then you plug the other side to the car, right? So this is a very good box. It can do up to 22 kilowatt. But, and this is like the default way of doing stuff, but there's actually Type 1 too, which is like just a regular outlet, easier box, and the same output. The cable's a little bit thinner, and it's one phase, so you can see that these two pins are like empty. And then you can plug this to a car. I'm gonna argue that this is actually better than that. Hi, so let's walk through this a little bit more. I'm gonna do a little bit of math, but hopefully it's not gonna be too bad. So, the one common argument against V1 chargers is that it's not safe to use them with your home electrical system, and that you should upgrade your system, which could be true, of course, but keep in mind that these systems that we have at home have some rating, so they're built to handle some sort of amperage. So they have these breakers, right? Like I have one box over there somewhere, and my home, like the total home breaker is 16 ampere. So I can take 16 ampere from like the grid and use that in my home. And then it breaks down to different circuits, and one circuits that you're gonna use to charge your car, that's what you're interested in, that has to be lower than 16 amperes, right? Because 16 ampere is for the whole house. So if I would take 16 ampere for the car only, then I can't run fridge or anything, because it will like break stuff. Like it will not break, but it will flip the breaker, so the energies will stop flowing. That's why the breaker is there, because that circuit, that cable in your wall is rated for 16 amperes. So then there is the safety breaker, which if it detects that you're taking more than these 16 ampere, it will flip and it will turn off the energy. So we already have these safety features built in our grid, in our home, wiring. But 16 amperes is kind of on the lower end, I guess, for house. Quite common is 20, at least here in Europe. There are 20, 25 or so on, especially if you want to install one of these home chargers, because it's hard to, like, you can take advantage with 16 ampere, but as we will see further, it's not that big advantage. So, what would the level 1 charger actually take? These level 1 chargers, they usually run on 10 amperes, which you can tell is most of what my home can do already. It's one phase though, right? This is actually 3 phase in my house, and then there are 3 phases spread out. This is only one phase, but let's say 10 ampere. Then the voltage here is 230 volts, which means that we have around, this is the effect, so it's 2300 watts, or, you know, this is the same as 2.3 kilowatts. And that's roughly what you're gonna see when you plug in your car with level 1 charger. If your car tells you, mine tells me that it's 2 kilowatt exactly. So I guess it's taking a little bit less than 10 ampere, or there are some losses on the way. But anyway, this is pretty much as high as I can go safely without upgrading my grid. But this is fine, 2.3 kilowatt. My battery in my car, for instance, I think it's around 54 kilowatt hours. So let me talk about the kilowatt hour part and the kilowatt without the hour here. So this is the effect. So this is the speed at which we're charging, the 2.3. But this is a capacity. So this is the amount of energy we got in the car. This is a bit different when we're talking about petrol cars, right? Because in petrol cars, we have just liters of petrol that we put in our car, and we don't really think about the speed at which we're pumping the fluid in, because that's just too fast, so it's not a problem. But here it is actually quite slower, so it's something we need to think about. And then if it's 2.3 kilowatt as a speed, and you would be doing that for 1 hour, you get 2.3 kilowatt hours in your car, right? So if you pump 1 liter per hour and you do it 1 hour, you get 1 liter in the thing. If you do 1 liter per hour and you do it 2 hours, you get 2 liters in the car, right? Same is true here. So if I would be doing 2.3 kilowatt and I would be doing that for, let's say, 30 minutes, so 0.5 hours, I'm gonna get 1.5 kilowatt, right? So that's how it works. So let's say I have 54, which is, I think, roughly what I have. That means that, well, I need a calculator for this. But that means that it will take me, let's use 2. Let's use 2.3, whatever. That's gonna take me 23 hours. So it's 23 hours to charge, right? Which sounds a lot, but that gives me, whatever, 500 kilometers. I don't drive 500 kilometers per day. I drive barely 30. So I really don't need to charge the whole car every night. I probably only need like, I don't know, 10th of that. So I need to charge 2 hours a day with this. And remember, we're talking about slow speed, we're talking version 1. And this is perfectly sufficient for most of people. Like most of the drivers don't drive more than, what, 150 kilometers? And you can charge 150 kilometers during 8 hours or probably less. Yeah, cool. So this is the horrible math. I've got to stop here. But yeah, just shoot me a question if you want me to dig deeper into this. Alright, but there's one feature that you can't usually get when you're charging with the level 1 charger, and that's smart charging. That means that you want to charge when energy price is low, and you don't want to charge when energy price is high. So that's why I built I built a tool for it. It's called Zapsanith. This connects to a car, figures out what the charge is, what it's doing, and then I have few actions here. So I can choose to stop charging, because right now the price is, well, 0.77 crowns, but it's gonna be lower. So I can choose to do that. And then, as you can see here, now we have a stop charge action that got executed, and my car just stopped charging, if you saw that. And then if I would refresh the status, we would get an update here. This usually takes a little bit because it's talking to the car, right? The car has a SIM card in it, and that's how it works. Usually you have these apps, like Hyundai has a Blue Link, but you have a different apps per different brand where you can see the status and control it, and that's exactly how this works. And one thing I can do here is I can schedule a charging based on the energy price, as I mentioned. So here we can see it will be actually cheaper down here, so around 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. So what I can choose to do is schedule a charging here. Yeah, it still hasn't refreshed, so it still thinks it's kind of charging, which is annoying. But there's a trick. I can schedule a stop, and then it will think that it's going to stop very soon. Anyway, so now it would schedule charging here, but let's say I don't need 90%. 80% is fine for me, you know, so it would just basically shift the charging plan based on my needs of how much energy I need. And then if we click schedule again, it's going to reschedule based on what it needs. Another thing, I might say I want to leave at 12, so it could plan if I want to leave by 12, it's going to schedule charging here. Yeah, that's basically it. That's how it works. Cool. Bye.